What's up people, you're watching CarTell.tv and I'm Jenny. Now retro car trends can either be a real winner or not. Nots being the Chrysler PT Cruiser and the Chevy HHR. Now if you don't know those cars, here's a crash course.
The PT Cruiser was supposed to convey the charm of the cars from the 1930s, but it failed. It was underpowered, under-engineered and downright ugly. Sure, there were some people that liked the quirky look and, well, nothing else.
Now, unless you liked that particularly modern take on the old classic, there wasn't much else to like.
This is why the HHR is even worse. It was Chevrolet's answer to the question that nobody asked. Can the PT Cruiser be even worse? Why, yes it can.
Sounds bad? Well, you can also Google the Mitsuoka Vute and the MX-5 butchering Mitsuoka Himeka.
Here's some pictures. I should have warned you to look away if you're squeamish. Sorry.
So one of the retro forever cars that wins this style category is the iconic Ford Mustang.
And its Camaro counterpart, as well as the Mercedes SLS, AMG GT, and the BMW 8 Series.
Yes, my friends, this is the good side of retro in the car industry that no PT Cruiser can taint. The one I have here is the Ford Mustang GT Fastback with the V8 under the bonnet.
It's a slight facelift of the latest model and it still packs the V8, unlike its inline 4 EcoBoost counterpart. It's also the best sold sports car in the world, thanks to its stunning looks, great heritage, good engines, and a price that is well under what the European retro sports cars command.
So, does sales guarantee a winning car? Not really. Even the PT Cruiser sold more than 1 million units to visually impaired people. Now let's have a closer look at the Mustang GT and see if it's worth more than just its retro charm.
See, this is how it's done. You take the overall look from the old version and you add the modern features. You basically make it look modern, but unmistakably related to the old one.
The fastback body was and is still one of my favorite body styles.
And the long bonnet, aggressive headlights and spoilers, cool bulges on the wheel arches, and this color pattern really make it stand out, and in a good way.
The 2019 model got some new modern tweaks, including a new grille, front bumper and headlights.
The rear has new tail lights and a more prominent diffuser. It does look a bit different, but it's still unmistakably a Mustang.
But looking at it, I feel that this design direction has a lot more to offer.
I don't think any upcoming Mustang will look bad. The overall shape is timeless and the embellishments can change as trends change, making each new Mustang both true to the heritage and relevant at the same time. There are 2 engines to choose from. The first one's a very modern inline 4 EcoBoost with 2.3 litres of displacement that gives 224 kilowatts and 441 Newton meters of torque from 3,000 revs.
Yes, the Mustang has an inline 4 option. In this age of more concern over fuel emissions, it gives this rev head icon a more eco-conscious option.
And it's also the engine that makes the Focus RS such a pocket rocket.
So yes, there's a smart option. And then there's this thing for the diehards.
This here is the beastly 5-litre V8 with 339 kilowatts and 556 Newton meters of torque. It's also naturally aspirated, so you have to rev it up to 4,600 revs for all that torque and 7,000 revs for all that power.
Now in a different car, that would be a bad thing. In this car, it's right on the money.
The thing is that turbo engines have taken over. Turbo lag is no longer such an issue, and low-end torque is just amazing for everyday driving and sudden overtaking.
Normally, when I drive a car with a naturally aspirated engine, I'm complaining that I have to push it hard to get the kick. Definitely not here.
Even though you find the top power and torque figures pretty high up in the rev range, there's more than enough push throughout the entire range. Moreover, naturally aspirated engines give that smooth power delivery without the delay that most turbocharged cars have.
So basically, you get loads of power delivered incredibly smoothly.
Combine this with an optional 10-speed automatic that I have here, and things get even better.
Now I thought that I would love the manual in this car, but after a week with this 10-speed auto, I have to say I probably would choose this transmission for myself.
It's simply perfect in every mode of driving.
Take a pleasant cruise like I am now, and it keeps the car in nice low revs. Just a hint of that engine gurgle.
Drive it more spiritedly and it picks the perfect revs and shifts points for the amount of throttle you input. Blast it all out and red line is constantly within reach.
Now, no matter which driving mode you choose, with 10 gears, the engine is always in its best possible revs. And I mean always.
The power is immense. When accelerating hard, there is like a jump with some wheel spin as you shift from first to second and even from second to third.
The push is hard, all the way up to top speed. It really lives up to its muscle name.
Yes, the 339 kilowatts is loads of power. Yes, there are more powerful sports cars out there. And yes, the Mustang could offer a more powerful version in Australia.
But honestly, they really don't need to. I mean, this engine is not lacking in any way.
There's way too much excitement going on to think at all, really.
Ooh, those V8 roars are just awesome.
And there are actually 4 exhaust modes to choose from called Normal, Quiet, Track and Sport.
Now, when the pedal is down, coherent thoughts are pretty much impossible. In fact, what was I just saying? But it's the adrenaline, the engine roars, smile on your face. You truly are in the moment when you're driving this car.
Another reason for the smile is the line lock feature. You can find it in the track apps. Most of these apps are about various statistics such as laps or acceleration times, but line lock is a bit different. Select it, follow the on-screen instructions, and the front wheels get locked while the rear ones are free to spin. And as much as I don't want to encourage hoons out there by saying this, but burning rubber has never been easier. However, there was a time when the lovely Mustang would fail when put against one of its arch rivals, a simple curve.
Mustangs used to tear it up on the straights, but wallow like a drunken elephant in the curves.
Not anymore. This modern iteration of the Mustang is far better to throw through the curves. The tail-happy nature of the rear-wheel drive Mustang is still present, but it is controlled far better.
Integral link independent rear suspension makes this car a lot more predictable and capable.
This also means it's firmer, which is not great for our roads. However, if you do want the best of all worlds, go for the optional Magna Ride suspension.
Oh, seriously, I need to stop for petrol again. Now, something I do have to talk about that some people are not going to like is that fuel consumption. Yes, the nostalgia, the drive is amazing, but this is a real petrol guzzler. So you have to be prepared to spend a lot more of your time at the petrol station. After a week of driving this thing around, I've been averaging about $15 a day, and that's not even going far. It's a great car to drive in almost every respect. The body roll is minimal, the steering is perfectly weighted, and the brakes bite with the zest of a tiger. And the engine, well, you already know about that.
It's actually incredible that you can get a car of this power and style for this much money. I mean, there is bound to be a trade-off somewhere. Yes, there is, and it's on the inside.
The Mustang is still one of the best muscle cars for this price. And although you definitely wouldn't call the interior plush, it is tough and aggressive and stylish. And I think it works really well for the genre.
The seats are covered in leather, as are the door panels and some surfaces on the inside. And some touch points are now softer, but there's still a few lesser materials around.
I like the design though. It's unmistakably American and very masculine and edgy with this brushed steel kind of thing going on.
I like the sporty feel of these toggle switches that look like they belong in a retro airplane, and the massive central control also adds to the hardcore ambient.
At night, there's also some really cool orange mood lighting. It coordinates with my car.
The 8-inch infotainment screen comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and Ford's Sync 3 with voice control. The latest update brought this 12-inch digital instrument cluster, and it looks awesome.
Now, storage spaces aren't bad. They're not fantastic either, but they are on par with most sports cars. You have the armrest, door bins, cup holders, and glove box.
Rear seats are similar to the ones in a Porsche 911. Just getting in is a serious chore.
Now, once you manage to wrangle your way into the back here, there's not really enough leg room or headroom for most adults, and the shoulders are weirdly constricted into the shape of the seat.
However, I have to point out that small children would have enough space and feel pretty tucked in. That is, if you really want to put kids in the back of this car.
The front ones are nice, so they're definitely big enough, they're comfortable and supportive, and they've got lumbar support, which is nice. However, I do find getting into that comfortable position a bit annoying. So most of the seat is electric, but the backrest is manual. Whee! Which makes sense if you're standing on the outside, but once you're in the car, not so good.
The boot has the capacity of 408 litres, which is pretty good for a sports car. The opening spoils the fun a bit because it's a pretty strange shape and definitely not very practical.
Yes, I was expecting the taillights to eat into the boot entrance a little bit, but then the angle of this lip is also quite odd. And what's with these screws? Why do they need to be so long? I mean, could you at least cover them up? Anyway, the size of the subwoofer should make up for most of those things.
What is good is that the rear seats fold, so you can have that extra bit of practicality if needed.
So yes, the Mustang is good on the inside, but let's face it guys, this car is all about the drive.
And with so much power, safety is paramount. There are 5 drive modes, most of which are for different performance conditions. But there's also one for snow or rainy conditions, which lets you tone down the response from the engine to keep you in line when traction is lacking. You also get rain sensors, 8 airbags, adaptive cruise control, automatic high beam, dynamic stability control, ISOFIX, Ford Mikey, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, rear parking sensors, and rear view camera, pre-collision assist, and pedestrian detection.
The bottom line is that this car is incredible value for money, but you might just make up the difference in petrol costs, with this engine anyway.
Sure, it has its downsides, but this is a true old-fashioned sports car that starts at just under $50,000, the EcoBoost Fastback, and guzzles its way up to $75,000 for a convertible GT. They all come packed with loads of features as standard. It will drive a lot better than before, it will look like a roaring beast, and sound like it, and the engine push is just amazing.
Muscle cars are supposed to be loud, in your face, and powerful, and this is definitely all those things. So the enthusiasts are going to be thrilled. But for me, I have to say I'm quite curious to see what's on offer from the new Mustang EV. Thanks again for watching CarTell TV, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now, do you think you're the biggest muscle car fan? Well, I'm going to give away a t-shirt. So to enter the competition, you need to head on over to Facebook, share our video, and tag CarTell.tv wherever you share it. And write underneath why you're a huge fan of the channel and muscle cars. And we'll pick a winner, and I'll sign it. And we'll see you next time. Peace.